All right, there we are. All right, so I'm going to try it this way. So I tried using a couple of the streaming services on my computer. That didn't really work. So I'm going to go live on my smartphone instead, which actually might be kind of nice because I can use my computer to easily search other things and not have to shrink my camera and so on. But anyway, so I do have the chat available here. Hold on one second. Yeah, welcome to live chat. I do have the chat set up, so let's go ahead and get that going. Type some messages, guys. Let's see what we can share tonight. So first thing I want to do is we want to look at what is going on in the hobby today. So I like to get most of my news from um, a site called sportscollectorsdaily.com, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this website yourself. And the big topic right now is the eBay Vault. So the eBay Vault just went live. I haven't used it yet. I haven't even really talked to anybody who's used it. So I guess we'll see how it goes. But um, I think it could be really good for those looking to maybe buy, authenticate, resell right away, not get shipped to you, not have to pay the tax and the shipping and all those good things that are involved generally in eBay. So that I'm thinking that's probably going to be the big motivation of who's going to use it. Now I'm mainly doing dollar box cards. I do a little bit of higher end stuff here and there, but not enough where I think I'm gonna take these off because there's such a glare going on. Actually, I'm gonna turn my light on too. That should help us. There we go. That's a little better. And Jeff, I agree. Yes. For those living outside the U.S., I apologize. I didn't mean to exclude you by any means, but yeah, I think that's a good point. If for those outside the U.S., if you're looking to just buy and sell, or even just buy and hold but not physically hold, the vault should work perfect for that. I still think eBay is the best marketplace for cards. I know I've talked on this channel, obviously a lot of other channels. There's a lot of chat in the, hobby about ComC, and I think there's another Ship My Cards, a couple different avenues, slab stocks, or My Slabs, excuse me. So I think it's uh, I think it's one of those things where um, it's going to get talked about a lot, these other companies, but they're just never going to dominate the way eBay can. It's not necessarily a good thing, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. We all know eBay fees stink, and you really have to try to plan to make sure that you can work in the eBay fees. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I might get buy something and throw it in the vault just to kind of say I've got something in the vault, and have it held. But I'm more of a physical retention guy. If I buy something, I want it. If I decide to go sell it later on, or I'm just going to PC it, whatever, I want possession of it. To me, that's kind of the whole point of a physical sports card item. I do have some NFTs, and those obviously are not something you can hold physically in your hand, and so I think there's a place for that. But if I'm buying a nice, shiny, rare card, serial numbered, I want to hold the thing. Um, the other thing I think could be beneficial might be fractional shares. Might have some people that want to hold the card, allow others to have part ownership in it, and the vault allows you to hold it as well as it would be insured, and it's got a police guards and all this good stuff that you need to hold something higher end that would be fractioned out. So I'm just looking for the eBay vault details here. One second. Um, yeah, that I think that's probably the big thing right now. The other thing is the kind of the fail on football, Prism Football. Uh, I've seen a lot of comments and breaks where it's really just not worth the money. Some really bad printing errors like off centering, dimples, some of the common Prism errors you've seen in the past. But when you start, doubling and tripling the price, it feels like it's something that needs to get past the those common errors. So I don't know. Have any of you opened Prism? Did you like it? Did you do well? Obviously you probably heard the story of the man and his young son who opened a box and got the one of one black Mac Jones and then instantly sold it for I think 110,000. So obviously the good cards are in the boxes, but when you're spending, I don't know, what is it now, 1,300, 1,400 a box, um, very few people are going to come out ahead, and that's actually probably the most valuable. Well, maybe the Trevor Lawrence would be a little bit more, but that would probably be the two most valuable cards in the product. So you already know one of those cards has been pulled and sold, so you're not going to get um, that kind of you're not going to get that kind of pull, in your box if it's already been pulled. All right, so let's take a look here at okay. So this was interesting too, and I don't know if you've seen this yet, but Topps and Fanatics announced a project of um, a college trading card program. So what it says here is college branded trading cards are nothing new, but cards featuring current college stars that include logos are coming as part of the new deal hammered out by Fanatics and Topps. The the far-reaching deal will eventually include nearly 150 of the nation's top colleges and over 200 male and female student athletes across multiple sports. So you can see Fanatics is trying to get in on that NIL train, if you will. Obviously, those of you who watch my channel know I'm a big wild card guy, and they came back in a big way by just signing player licenses. No colleges, no pro teams, nothing like that. Simply just signing with the players. And I think that Fanatics sees that there's a lot of good future in that, especially now that the current college athletes are allowed to get paid and sign contracts and things like that. So I did find that interesting. I wasn't sure if the quote unquote licensed card companies would want to get in on NIL stuff. The exclusivity of holding the license is the big value. Why would you want to spend any time producing cards of unlicensed stuff? Although this does talk about college teams, so I'm guessing it's going to have some collegiate, some NCAA licensing, but yeah, I don't know. So that's gonna be interesting to see what they end up doing with that. And I don't know if that's gonna apply for if they're gonna do something with like AAA ball players, like have a AAA set featuring back in the day when I was a kid, each of those AA and AAA teams made like little team card sets and stuff. Actually, I live in Green Bay, and Appleton is close to here, and Alex Rodriguez played there in I think 91 or 92, and they made a Appleton Foxes set. That was the name of the team, and I do have an Alex Rodriguez, essentially a pre-rookie card. Um, so, that might be something that they try to get into if you're looking at more sports than just football or basketball. Ones that don't follow sort of a traditional college to pros type of a flow. So the eBay vault says that any cards valued 750 or more can be housed in a 31,000 square foot, 24-hour, 7-day a week secured vault. Temperature controlled. It's in Delaware, and I think the reason it's in Delaware, and the reason I know this is because I have some cryptocurrency that's vaulted in Delaware. I think it's like tax friendly there. Also, um, there's space and stuff to build something like this and be able to house it. Because I would assume they intend to, grow it over time if it's popular enough. Let's see. Company officials say the vault can be used by collectors to sell and buy graded cards without shipping them, and also puts eBay in the mix for offering cards via fractional shares. Okay, so I didn't read this before, but basically they're stating what my idea was for why they're doing this. So the fractional share ownership, where eBay can essentially issue portions of a card to different people that want to have ownership in the card. So eBay, like I said, it's the biggest trading card or sports card, whatever you want to call it, platform in the world. It does make some sense for them to have some other options besides person to person deals, shipped deals. Let's see what else. eBay goes on a little bit about eBay and what their place is. To be eligible for the vault storage, more fractions of a card sold equals more fees for eBay to collect. That's a very valid point, and I'm sure they intend to charge for this. I don't know costs yet. It hasn't been reported. I'll get through the rest of this material here. Maybe it does allude to that a bit, but nothing I've seen or heard so far has prices. Let's see. eBay Vault is a critical offering that will let collectors streamline and securely store the portfolio of assets. It's truly a future of collecting. To be eligible for the vault storage, cards must have been authenticated and graded by PSA, SGC, CSG, or Beckett. So only those graders, those 4 graders, CSG and CGC, I think are the same thing. That they're both commented on here, but I believe that's the same company. And they have to be worth a minimum of $750. So you can't send your 50-cent Barry Sanders raw cards in for vaulting. So, and I use Barry Sanders as an example because I just got a big lot of Barry Sanders stuff in today, so he's on my brain. But anyway, so I don't really think I have a ton of use for the vault services, but I don't know, maybe that'll kind of grow over time. They have this really cool futuristic picture where like these cards are in a little like lighted box that's built into the wall, and so they have like a Bo Jackson graded rookie card sitting in there. I mean, obviously that's not what it's going to look like. It's going to be a bunch of probably cardboard boxes full of stacked slabs and stuff, but it's kind of funny to see how they envision it or try to project the image of it. Let's see. So prospective buyers can identify cards that are already stored in the eBay vault via a badge in the listing. So kind of like authenticated and other things you've seen in listings recently. There'll also now be a little badge that has a little picture of a vault, and it's literally like a door with the little like turning cog wheel in the middle. So it definitely looks like a vault. Once an item's in the vault, instant sales become a reality, with ownership transferring from seller to buyer in a matter of seconds and no need to re-authenticate or ship anywhere if you don't want to. Card hobbyist, I agree. It's going to be as basic as possible. They will try to climate control, and keep everything safe. I would assume there's some kind of insurance that they'll be giving you, since you're paying for this and they're guaranteeing you, 24/7 protection and so forth. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be separate little plexiglass cases on, down the wall for each card. That would be insane. Anyway, so let's see. We've got, eBay envisions fans and collectors buying and selling cards of popular players while watching games or reacting to news involving a player, much like sites such as ComC. So, and again, kind of ironic, it's in this article. I had talked about it earlier. That was kind of, ComC's special place in the hobby, if you will, that, and they took a picture of every single card, and they did a lot of lower end card buying and selling. But I don't know. I don't see ComC as like a vault service, if that's what they're trying to compare it to. Okay, so when a collector ships a card to store in the eBay vault, no sales taxes are charged, which that is a pretty good deal if you plan to hold the card. Why pay taxes on it? When one is purchased from a seller using the vault, eBay will collect sales tax as required. So of course that's law now. So if you do, let's say you buy it, you vault it, you don't pay any tax, then you sell it and you're going to have it shipped out, or you ship it to yourself, they'll charge you the tax at that time. Okay, so pretty much standard information that I was expecting to see. While eBay is waiving its own selling fees for the remainder of the year, so that's kind of their tease right now. The company will institute charges for instant transfer sales and pulling and shipping cards beginning next year. There's a hyperlink in here. I'm going to click on this quick just to see if. Okay, so they do have some fee breakdown in here. All right, so if it's a 250 to 300, I thought it was had to be a $750 card. Weird. Anyway, so the low end 250 to 300 would be $12.50 to store the card. Let's see. High end $1,000 plus, it's $50. So sounds like anything over 1,000. Oh, let's see. Items valued at, I gotta squint a little bit because I took my glasses off. Any items over 100K or more, eBay customer service will contact you to discuss shipping options. So I don't know, maybe they would require courier service or something at that time. There will be an instant transfer fee. They don't say what that's going to be. The item in the eBay vault and shipping item them to your address. So there's also going to be a withdrawal fee. So when you do choose to have that card sent, they're going to charge you like a final value fee type thing too, I guess. eBay waives all selling fees for items stored in the eBay vault, which means once your item is in, you won't have any selling fees, including final value fees. If you're shipping an item to the eBay vault, you'll pay reduced final value fees. So there's some plus again to using this holding service if it's going to stay in there for a longer period of time. All right, enough about that. So I think we've got a pretty good idea of how that eBay vault is going to work. Is this something that any of you are maybe looking at using? Maybe waiting your time to kind of see how it plays out. What's all going to be um, involved in it and what the actual cost. I'd hate to like get my item into the vault based on this like teaser, we don't charge you anything thing, and then they go and I want to hold it there for a year or whatever, and then like right before I want to draw it, they jack up the rates, and now I end up paying more than I would if I'd have just had the card shipped to me or something. So I don't know. In other news, Beckett hired a new CEO. Let's see, card hobbyist. I mainly play with low end stuff, so vaulting is not in my sights. Yeah, you're exactly like me. That's exactly where I'm at generally with 99% of my business. But Beckett did hire a new CEO, and it's kind of interesting. He doesn't really have a card background, but he's got a tech background. Kunal Chopra, and I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, got hired, I think, last week. But he's a software and tech-enabled services platform specialist. And so it sounds like maybe they're going more in that direction. Maybe they're going to go to more digital assets. I'm not sure. So I thought that was kind of an interesting move. They didn't hire like PSA hired, can't think of his name right now, but they hired somebody who's, yes, he has experience in building like tech companies and things like that and has a lot of money. Nat Turner. But he's also a collector and maybe this guy is too. I guess I don't really know much about him, but it doesn't mention anything like that. You'd think they'd say like avid sports card fan, collector, investor, something like that, as an extra selling point, but I don't really see that. So, another burglary, that's unfortunate. Let's see. Cody Gehrig, 1906 Cubs pendant goes up for sale. That's pretty cool. I'm a Cubs fan, so that would be something that would be interested to me. The Logo Man. I guess we might as well just get right to that one. So the Triple Logo Man was unfortunately pulled by Backyard Breaks, which is probably the most controversial breaking group. I've watched a lot of videos that kind of show some different scam things they do with like when they're doing draws for like who gets what, they use a deck of cards, which is so wrong because it's not really random and you can mark cards and things like that. A good breaker will use like some sort of computerized randomizer or something like that, where they can't really play a hand in, pun intended, since it's cards. They can't really influence, which cards are drawn and things like that. So anyway, they pulled the triple logo man. I think that's National Treasures, right? If I'm not mistaken. But they got it. They are putting it up for auction. I think they're splitting it three ways because I think it was a card they opened, in their own for their own personal break. It was just stuff that they were opening. Let me see here. Let me see if I've got a little bit more information on this. But anyway, yeah. Oh, here it is. Um, but yeah, it's going to go up for auction, and there's quite a bit of debate on what it's going to sell for. I mean, we've, if you're involved in this hobby to any large degree, you've seen anything from estimates of like $1 million to like $6 million, which I think is insanity. But I even think a million is insane. But um, I get the logo man portion. I do believe they are. Oh, it's flawless. It's flawless. They are game used, um, but no like real significant game that it's attached to. It's not like a Game 7 logo man or something like that. So it's, I don't know. It's kind of, it just seems very inflated. It's definitely not a rookie card. It's not autographed. There's really nothing extra spectacular about it. I mean, it's LeBron James. It's got three logo man patches in it. It's flawless and it's a 101. So I mean, I don't expect it to go for like 10 grand or something, but 6 million just seems completely insane. That would, rival the largest Hannes Wagner sale. you know, um, I don't get that, but we'll have to see how it does. It's going to Golden Auctions, and that will be on. Let's see, seven-figure price tag. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It has been authenticated by PSA, not graded, but authenticated, which I found was interesting. So it might not be in like that great a shape, because I would think if it was a 9 or 10, you would just grade it, if you're looking to get a premium. Um, there's some rumors that Drake might be wanting to buy it. He obviously busted quite a few cases to try to get the card. Let's see. Taken from jerseys worn by James and images of him with the three teams he's played for: Cavaliers, the Heat, and the Lakers. Back is printed in gold script and has logos of the three teams. So it is from a jersey from each one of his teams. So that does add a little bit of coolness, I'll admit, to it. Let's see. Golden founder Ken Golden says it's the undisputed holy grail of modern cards. Maybe for now it is, but it's going to be on display in New York for now. Sort of building up some hype to that until that auction happens. But what do you think about that? Do you think that that's something that you would want to have? I mean, obviously we'd all want to have it, but is that something you would pay $1 million for? Like, say money was no object, or relatively no object, and you could get a chance at this thing. Would you pay $1 million for it? Would you pay 6 million for it? Is there something else you would buy? I mean, I'm thinking like Honest Wagner's and 52 Mantles and even other LeBron rookies and stuff, autos, and things that I would prefer over that. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see where that goes. Um, all right, so releases. So we talked a little bit about Prism Football, and it seems like that's kind of been a fail. Not a lot of people breaking it have had luck. Obviously, the more quantity you break, probably the better experience you're going to have. I have seen with the first off the not the first off the yeah, I think it's first off the line. I've seen a lot of like golds being pulled, numbered out of 10, but nothing of any significant players, at least that I saw. I don't watch a ton of breaks, but usually, I'll catch one or two where there's something big in it. I think Leighton Sports Cards had a big one. Maybe they had a Trevor Lawrence gold auto. And then, like I said, that Mac Jones Black 101 got pulled. But I'm kind of holding out and waiting for some, maybe some to pop at retail. I'd pay, 30, $40 for a blaster, but that's probably about as far as I certainly won't pay $1,200 for a hobby box. Um, but something I would buy, and I just ordered two more of these on the Fanatics website. They have actually, I'm going to grab it real quick so I can show it to you. Um, they have the 2021 Phoenix. If you're into football cards, they have the Phoenix sets, which are every card is a parallel. It's the Fireburst parallel, nice looking cards. And then you get a 3-card pack of Celestial. So it's got a bunch of like reflective stars and stuff on it. I just realized my video is backwards, but I think you get the picture. The I think they're a really good deal. They were $80 when they came out, which I thought was super cheap. The first year they did it was last year with the Fireburst set, and I think it was 100. I think it was a lot, like almost 200 maybe. But anyway, now they just dropped the price to $67. And I had some Fanatics fan cash because each time you order, if you have an account, excuse me, they will award you a little bit of fan cash that you can spend at another date shopping there. So by the time I took that out and everything else, free shipping, all that good stuff. So I ordered a couple more sets for like $130 is what it cost me, shipped, taxed, everything. And I just don't think that you can pass that up. Look at a box of Prism where you don't know what you're going to get versus you're getting somewhat limited parallel of every card in this set. Nice looking set, chrome, shiny, all the things that everybody wants. You're guaranteed every single card. You get the 3 Celestials, which are pretty rare. And you can get a good shot at, at a good player on one of those. I think the Mac Jones, the recent ones were selling for like 120 or 135, somewhere in there. Last time I checked. So if you just pull a Mac Jones Celestial, you doubled your money. I mean, it's crazy. So I bought 4 sets of these now, and I think that's something that I'm going to continue to do going forward. Hobby boxes are they're just priced out for me. I just don't see the value in it. And yeah, you hit the black, Mac Jones, great, you got something. But if you don't, oh, just 1 second there. But if you don't hit that, something like that, it's going to be a loss. Like 99% of those boxes are going to be a loss for people. So that's my take on like current products that are out there and good deals. So if you're yeah, card hobbyist, I kind of agree. I think so. Mac Jones is kind of twofold for why he's so popular. He plays for the Patriots. They have a good fan base. Um, he did have a good season. His rookie year, he did have a really good season. So I think a lot of people just feel like that's something he can build on. Plays for Belichick. Belichick obviously built Brady. Brady was not the best quarterback in the history of the game, which now he's the best quarterback in the history of the game. Uh, whether you want to give credit to Belichick for that or not, he played there for a long time and won a lot of games. So I think a lot of people sort of see that, oh, this is like building a Tom Brady team. Belichick knows what's Mac Jones' strengths, what's his weaknesses, and he's going to build around all that, and they're going to be competitive. And it's probably true to some degree. So I think that's kind of the hype on the Mac Jones. Back in 2000, I wasn't buying Brady rookies. He once Drew Bledsoe went down and Brady came in. He won a couple of games. It's like, okay, Bledsoe cards never really did anything, and he went to a Super Bowl. So I didn't really think much of it, but he just kept winning and kept winning, kept winning, kept winning. An MVP or two there, here or there, some Super Bowl MVPs. All the accolades that he's achieved, and it was all while he was with the Patriots. Well, until now, obviously he won with the Bucks too. But I think that's the big hype on Mac. Um, but that being said, I'm glad you kind of brought that up because I think 2021 is going to be the last year for a bit to get a really good football rookie class product. I don't think the 2022 class is very good. The products are all way behind printing, so we might not get 2022 Prism until like 2024. At this point, who knows? Um, and there's so many quarterbacks from the 2021 class that are starters. You got Davis Mills and Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, and you just Trey Lance, should get his shot this year. So I really think you're gonna if you're playing the lottery ticket game and you're buying packs or sets or whatever, hoping that there's a couple players that really take off in it. I think 2021 is a good year, as well as 2020 with Herbert and Burrow, who are a little bit more proven even already. One more year under their belt, of course. But yeah, so the 2021 stuff, I think is going to be the way to go. I don't know what's going to happen to prices in 2022. I thought basketball would drop way down since there wasn't that great of NBA rookie class in this year for NBA. Um, the top 13 or lucky 13 or whatever you want to call it, lottery picks, but it didn't really. I mean, the prices for basketball stuff is still up there. I think maybe some of the more overpriced stuff like Prism and that maybe dropped a little bit this year, but not by much. Um, so I really like the set buy. I think that's a good spot. Yeah, I that's the thing, Ben. I agree with you. And actually, I think what's funny about football is I think they're kind of dragging the products on purpose. And the I think the whole reason that they're dragging it is because the 2022 class isn't going to be very good, and I don't think there's going to be much um, hype or big interest in a lot of the products for 2022. So I think they're kind of like, well, let's just string out our 2021 and see how much money we can get out of that. We'll release Prism really late and Select really late, and all the products that people really look forward to, collectors, investors, whoever, and just kind of drag it out and see if they can make more that way if they're not going to do as well this next time. There was a post on here, a chat on here. For some reason, it's disappeared from my screen right now. But making a statement about getting out of football and going to baseball because football is so quarterback centric. You're not wrong. But one of the main reasons I'm into football, well, obviously my PC is a football player too, but one of the main reasons I buy football over anything else is because it's easy to understand. So when I was a kid, basketball is released in like a 2 year set, essentially, if you want to call it that. So Shaq's a rookie in 92, 93, right? And unless you follow that or you follow the game closely, it was like, okay, well, is 93, 94 his rookie year, 92, 93? And to me, that became a little bit confusing. And then also, you don't know which position players to buy because, you know, we kind of know that now. It's going to be the all the shooters and the scorers. Um, but at the time, like Shaq was out, and it was a big man's game. Well, some of those big men were worth purchasing and investing in. Um, I don't think that's the case any longer, but we shall see. Things can change over time too. So I kind of look forward to seeing where basketball goes. Stephon Curry essentially changed the game probably forever, big influence. But you still need those superstar players. Like that's essential. You need a LeBron James. You need that kind of player, Kobe, Jordan, type of thing to sort of keep it going. I don't really see anybody. Maybe Ja could be that player. Maybe Luca. I don't. I just don't know that Luca's going to win enough championships and stuff to really be considered, in a GOAT conversation. But we'll see. So now you had mentioned baseball, and to me that's a whole other investment game because you're buying all these players years before they're even going to take a field. And then this is a good point too. Ben responds saying, baseball's home run centric, and that's true. Pitchers don't generally make any money um, if you're looking at it from an investment standpoint. But yeah, most of the money is in the guys with the long ball and the big market teams. Quite frankly, they're the ones that um, all the players become famous in essentially. But I do like where baseball's at right now. I think there's some really good, exciting young players that have a lot of charisma and character. When you look at Vlad and um, some of Acuna and some of those guys, it's like they're pretty fun to watch, and they're very emphatic in their game. So we'll see. But it I buy baseball here and there, and I bought it a lot when I was a kid. That's how I got started. My uncle was a baseball card collector, but it's just so shot in the dark. I mean, if you think, well, it's football isn't fun to collect because it's so quarterback focused. So baseball's almost the exact opposite. It's you have no idea what to buy, and something you buy today could be completely worthless tomorrow, and then completely worth a ton 2 years more down the road. It's baseball cards are extremely interesting to me. And then you got something like a Trout, and he's worth a lot. And I get how good Trout is. Don't get me wrong; I completely respect what he does. But he's not going to win any championships. Yeah, he'll get some MVPs and things, but I don't know. That one's tough. If he ends up staying with the Angels, I just don't know. I just don't know that he's going to get enough to be a big dollar um, long term name. You know, I think about players like Ken Griffey Jr., who was probably the most dominant player in my time. If you kind of remove Barry Bonds from the conversation, and Griffey stuff. It does okay, and I buy some Griffey stuff here and there because I'm like, oh, he was the best in my generation. I'll buy some of that. And it doesn't sell that well unless you have like super rare insert stuff in that. Like even base cards, I can't really move or do anything with for the most part. So Jeter stuff does really well, but so I guess you could throw Jeter in that conversation for '90s dominant, but he's kind of mid '90s to late 2000s. But anyway, so, but if baseball's more exciting to you and that's where you want to put your money and that's what you like opening and you have better luck with it and you're PCing it and you follow the sport, I think that's great. You should be buying, investing, whatever in that you believe in. So, I've just done much better with the football sales, even vintage. I bought a bunch of like vintage baseball commons maybe about a year ago or so, and they've kind of sold here or there. I haven't really bought any since because it didn't. I don't know. They just kind of sat. And I started buying like I kind of accidentally bought some football vintage commons because uh, I sort of stumbled upon somebody who was looking to get rid of some cards, and I didn't offer him a whole lot because I'm like, I don't think I can do anything with these. If they're really going to get some return on it, and I started listing them. I'm like, well, I might as well list them. I don't have any vintage in my store. It's good to have that expansion over time. And man, they just sell awesome. Even I have old, really beat up stuff, and I'm getting like three. I can get like $3 to $5 for a common. There just isn't a lot of football vintage out there for sale, so I've done really well with that. It seems like there's a lot of baseball vintage. People have been collecting that for a long time, and I don't know if a lot of the football stuff got cast aside or they didn't print as much of it or what, but um, for me as a low end dollar box type dealer, that's been better money. So it's something for everyone. That's the great part about this. You can buy as much as you want, as little as you want, any sport, any hobbies, whatever. Um, yeah, I agree. It's the popularity of the player, and that's kind of true for every sport. A player who's successful is going to be naturally more popular anyway. But yeah, you look at, I'm trying to think of an example here, but yeah, if the player is an interesting character, think about like Dennis Rodman, right? Was he good? Yeah, of course. You're not going to have any hobby if you're not good and you can't sustain a career or at least be in the playoffs here and there and things like that. But he was so eccentric and different and had such a interesting life that I think he garnered an even bigger fan base due to his personal life. and who he was, as much as his game. That can work to your negative too. Isaiah Thomas was an amazing basketball player, but he was kind of a villain, especially during those Bulls years and stuff. Game was a lot more aggressive, and the Pistons were sort of a beat 'em up type team, and so nobody. I don't know anybody who collects Isaiah Thomas, but he was fantastic. So it's interesting how markets go. My personal PC, and granted, I got to see him play. I worked for the Packers for a little while, so I worked on the sidelines. Got to see him play up close. But my personal PC is, or personal PC. That's sort of a anyway. Um, PC means personal collection, but I uh, I started collecting him just because I liked the way he played the game. I didn't feel like he was just there for a paycheck, which a lot of players are, or at least were at that time. I guess I don't watch much of it now, so I don't really know. But he played for the love of the game. He was always in there, whether he was hurt or not. He wanted to win. He took chances because he felt like, at least if I take a chance, I give us an opportunity to win. If it doesn't work out, I'll be the goat. I'll be the bad guy, if you will. I threw the interception at the end of the game, whatever. Played all those games consecutively, so he holds a record I don't think will ever be broken. Um, you know, 3 MVPs back to back to back, which has never been done. Won a Super Bowl. There's enough there besides the fact that people generally like him. He still does commercials, and he's actually coming back to Green Bay to play a charity softball game with Donald Driver. So the tickets have been going kind of nuts for that. And you knew his whole family. You knew his dad. You knew his wife. You knew his mom, brother, sister. He's from Kiln, Mississippi, and he rides around on his lawnmower on his free time. Stuff like that. I thought would be something that, investment wise, yeah, it had something for me, which is why it's my PC. But also long term, people were going to want Brett Favre stuff. So that's why I PC who I PC. I think you can't PC a player if you don't respect their game, even if you like them as a person, or like what they do outside the uniform. You have to like their game, or why they're in the game, or why they, how they play the game, because otherwise it wouldn't really make sense. So, but anyway, thanks for joining me on my very first live. I appreciate it. I know took me a few efforts to kind of get here. Turns out the cell phone is going to be the best way to do that. But we're about 45 minutes in. I'm gonna try to do this. I'd like to do this, at least once a week, maybe twice a week, where I can sit down half hour, something like that, and just have some chat. I make videos, and you guys watch the videos, and I really appreciate that, and you give me feedback. I think it's a lot more fun if we can have some actual interaction. I'm over 1,000 subscribers, so now I can do these lives mobilely, which is essentially what that means. Streaming from my phone. So works better for me that way too. So if you have any questions, comments, or any ideas for a future live, I'd appreciate any feedback. That'd be great. This is a group effort, of course. We all want to cover different subjects and chats of things we deem important. Otherwise, I'm probably going to stick to a lot of the current hobby news type stuff, or maybe show off some things I'm buying, whatever. But yeah, so thank you so much again for watching, and we'll see you again soon.